Welcome back to the Coruscant Nights podcast. Thanks for joining us again. You're live with Cooper and Jack, and today is the highly anticipated return of the great Star Wars debate. We did this over a year ago, I think it was.
Yeah. It was a while ago, yeah.
We're going to do pretty much the exact same thing. Obviously, there's only two of us now. We've got a couple topics in a bowl here that we're going to pick out and debate.
Yep.
We're not going to impose time limits this time.
Yep.
We did keep it to a minute. We also had a moderator last time. No moderator. We're just going to kind of keep it between us. So there's some good topics. We've both contributed this time, so it'll be good. I think we're ready to get going.
Yes. So the rules for this game is, so the person who draws it, they get a chance to pick between for or against, meaning that the other person by default has to argue for the other one, which is probably going to be objectively harder. So it makes it a bit more intense. Debate discussions. So you're forced to do one side each.
Yep. Yep. And one last thing before we begin. Again, thank you everyone for 500 subscribers. That's a big deal for us, so we appreciate it. And yeah, let's try and get to 1K now. Alrighty, Jack.
Yep.
We discussed this before.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the first pick.
Yeah, I'm confident.
All right. Big money, big money, big money.
Please be one of yours. Actually, no. One of mine will be good.
This looks like a... Oh, okay.
Right. So yours, isn't it?
Okay. Is Sabine a Jedi?
Oh, no.
Now, this is interesting.
Yeah, which one are you going to do?
This is interesting. I got to really think about this.
Yeah, which one's better?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
I'm going to argue for.
Oh, you got a harder one, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think about the evidence that we've seen, and obviously watching Rebels recently has helped with this.
Yep.
Sabine has undergone Jedi trials that the Jedi take to become a Jedi Master, a Jedi Apprentice, Jedi Padawan. Obviously, it's not been since birth, but to be fair, none of the Jedi born after Order 66 had a, standard way of being brought up in the Force. Ezra was, 13, 14 when he started learning. Sabine, similar age, maybe a bit older when she started learning. So there's evidence to suggest that there's not really a formal way to do it like it was before Order 66.
Okay.
Sabine has undergone training with a Jedi Master. 2 Jedi Masters, actually.
Master?
Kanan. He's a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, Knight.
He was a master to Ezra, so I think that counts.
Here we go, technicalities.
Yeah, well, I mean, like our old discussion we did with Kylo Ren and being a Sith.
Yeah,
true.
true.
Anyway, I'm going to count it. And then we've seen her train under Ahsoka, who, again, maybe not a Jedi Master, but a Jedi Knight. She's had that Jedi training, and that all culminated in the use of the Force on Peridia. I think Sabine is officially a Jedi. That is my case.
Okay, so look, obviously with what you said, Cooper, I agree what we did see on the screen. However, there was no real true build-up during Rebels, really, of it. It was her training with the Darksaber, learning how to kind of master the Darksaber, especially in one of my all-time favourite Rebels episodes, mind you. However, there wasn't a real anticipation or build-up of Sabine actually becoming that Jedi. It was kind of more forced into at the start of the Ahsoka show live action, and it makes you question, really, even if she is a Jedi, what has she done to earn the right to be that powerful in the Force by absolutely forcing Ezra onto a ship that was at least yay big? So it's like there was no real true build-up. She couldn't even move a cut like 2 episodes prior, and then you're using the excuse to say, oh, Ahsoka, the Force, it flows in everyone. It's just those who are willing to train hard for it. You're telling me half the galaxy is lazy and don't want to... If everyone knew that they could somewhat tap into the Force ability that everyone has, then half the people will at least be Force sensitive. She is not a Jedi. She barely has the morals of a Jedi. It feels so forced into it, especially when you have a prime Jedi in that era of Ezra in the same show and had that build up throughout all of Rebels. They gave you that kind of feeling that he deserves to be a Jedi, because he was similar with Sabine in terms of not being trained within the prequel kind of era before Order 66. Yet we were developed with him. We learnt through his mistakes. We saw how he become kind of in the end. Sabine goes through being a Mandalorian, has her trials and tribulations of kind of becoming that Mandalorian figure that her family wanted her to be and everything. Boom, Ahsoka show, Jedi. No. That's my case.
But again, and obviously, so I agree with you about the moral stuff. Like, she doesn't have the morals of a Jedi. But there is that time period between the end of Rebels and Ahsoka that we don't know about. And we do know that she was training with Ahsoka before.
Forced narratives. They're just doing that to drive their own idea of what it is.
But we haven't...
You didn't even see it. So
we haven't seen it. Tales of the Jedi season 2.
Oh, good lord, no, please. all right. I think that one's on the pudding. I don't know who won that one.
I think they were both valid points. Well, that's the point of these topics.
I do feel like, though, the reason why I don't believe she is, and it's good that I ended up getting this topic because I don't think she is in my whole heart, is that I feel like the writers really made this decision for us to kind of accept, which was... So, like, yes, you might be right. They might backtrack and show kind of a bit more of that bridging of the gap, but it's kind of like, you can even use the excuse for Clone Wars, right? It's like, they use Clone Wars, the animation series, obviously, to kind of bridge that gap between 2 and 3. So it's like, if you didn't think about them and just going from 2 to 3, you'd be like, oh, well, so much has changed. So it's like, you're kind of forcing us to accept this and to watch this and to see this, but we don't really believe it. That's my interpretation. Like, yeah, technically, I have to agree with you. She is a Jedi right now. But do I believe it? No, I don't.
No. Okay, all right. So, maybe I should have worded the question differently. On technicality.
Yeah, because technically she is a Jedi. She has to be a Jedi now because she got a whole ass lightsaber for the Force. Yeah. Okay. But do we classify her as a Jedi? I can't say I do. Yeah.
Look, again, I would agree with you. I just think that there's enough evidence there to support her... Like, the journey of a Jedi, she's kind of gone through the technical bits of being a Jedi.
Yeah.
So
I think I like to think that more of that being like ruling with the darksaber, being the heir to the Mandalorian throne type.
I wish they'd gone down that route.
That would have been good. That would have been so good. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. All right. We'll leave that one up to you guys.
Yeah, you guys can discuss it.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
Oh, it's Cooper's.
Oh, here we go.
Because the handwriting's nice. The sequels aren't as bad as people make them out to be.
This is the one I wanted to fix. Well, I know what you're going to pick.
Obviously, I'm going to go against this. It is very bad. So I'm going to start us off. Let's put it in the discard pile.
Okay, here we go.
To kickstart this debate, let me just say, even if you agree that the sequels aren't as bad as people make them out to be, they had 2 directors, all different visions. One was in the middle of a whole trilogy. They never followed a sequential kind of structure with the script. Okay, you might ask, that could still make for a good trilogy or an average trilogy. No, it doesn't. You redo... So, J.J. Abrams set up in Force Awakens, right? He set up these new characters, established this new kind of timeline, new time period. However, he played it safe, basically rehashed A New Hope. Not creative, not really that unique. Characters who are objectively worse than the original trilogy characters who we grew up with. Then you have The Last Jedi, which Rian Johnson set out to subvert expectations. Basically, ended on off a cliffhanger on The Force Awakens. Ooh, she's found Luke. Ooh, what's he gonna... Chucks the lightsaber, then basically redoes everything that J.J. Abrams set up in the first one to then establish what he thinks is the correct way. But just you wait, it gets better. In The Rise of Skywalker, J.J. Abrams comes back to the helm and goes, hey, you know what? Nobody liked what Rian Johnson did. Let me go back to The Force Awakens and try and rewrite what happened in The Last Jedi into this movie. And then also bring back a fan favorite character that makes no sense and to make it cap off the whole 1 to 9 trilogy franchise whilst also not even honouring the legacy of the great Darth Vader Anakin Skywalker, who the Skywalker saga was initially about. Everyone likes Rey's character idea. Who's she going to be? Theories everywhere, fan theories. Oh, she's a nobody in The Last Jedi. Oh, that's a bit lame, but I guess, okay, fair enough. Rise of Skywalker. Oh, yeah, no, she's Palpatine's granddaughter. You're telling me Palpatine got it on with someone and had a kid, and then that kid had another kid of Rey, and it's like, what? This writing is like made by a 2-year-old. Like, who thinks of this? Okay, visuals. People, I don't really see many people who hate the sequels really, like, promote how good the visuals are. Visuals are great. I think Disney did a pretty good job with the sequel trilogy and how they look, how the sound effects are, music, lack of music throughout any fight scene ruins kind of the credibility on how all the other major fights in the Star Wars franchise was iconic due to the music. You link the music to the fight and vice versa, the fight to the music. I just think that the sequel trilogy could have had a good established kind of, mini thing after it, but in the end, it just kind of ruined legacy characters, didn't have a clear kind of concise story throughout from 7 to 9, and then in the end just did rush decisions to try and grab people into or grab cinema people to go into the cinemas to watch it. by saying, "Oh, Palpatine's returned. Oh, Darth might shot because we had his breathing at the end of the trailer." No, he didn't. It was just a voice of Snoke. Snoke, wasted character. Finn, ex-stormtrooper, ex-First Order trooper, stormtrooper, turned Jedi. Oh, cool story. Nah, scratch that. Rey, best Sith Lord who's been training since he was a kid with Luke Skywalker in a forest and then becomes one of the most powerful Jedis of all time. Who are you? Rey Skywalker. So much is wrong with this, and I can't say it enough. It is so bad. Deserves a hate. It gets no... And I know what you're going to say. Is it going to be in the future down the line where like the prequel trilogy where everyone hated it and now people are loving it? No, it will never happen to the sequel trilogy. You know why? Because it's that bad.
Wow. So this is a topic where, first of all...
You wanted me to get...
I wanted me to pick it and me to say, yes, they are as bad. So that you would have to argue that... Anyway, because I know that would absolutely ruin you.
Yeah, it would have...
Also, this is kind of why we got rid of the 1 minute time limit, so that we could go on rants like this.
That was a big rant, yep.
Can I read the question again?
Yeah.
Sorry, I genuinely... you just ranted something.
Make them as bad as they are.
Okay. So, I don't disagree with some of your points, but I think that the sequels aren't as bad as people make them out to be because it introduces us to a new form of storytelling. Hang on, let me cook. In The Force Awakens, we get a beautiful narrative that nowhere resembles home. We've got the First Order, which no way resembles the Empire. We've got the Resistance, which is a sub-faction of the New Republic, which in no way resembles the Rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
We've got our main character, Rey, from a desert planet, who's nothing like our main character, Luke Skywalker. Yeah. We don't have a Han Solo type character, and we don't have a Princess Leia type character. And what's great is that these new characters fit into the story with the already aforementioned characters, Luke and Han and Leia. And we see so much of Luke in this movie, I think it justifies making a whole sequel trilogy. But that's just The Force Awakens. Then we move to The Last Jedi. Some of the best new characters you'll ever see. We get Rose Tico, an absolute standout amongst the cast and the crew. Then we get Supreme Leader Snoke, who has one of the coolest looks ever. He is so cool. Like, obviously a bit smaller than what you might expect, but his look and his kind of squeaky voice really makes him a formidable foe.
This is not working.
And then you get to the Rise of Skywalker, which is just a beautiful kind of whodunit. Who took the dagger?
Yeah.
Where is Palpatine hiding? Yeah. And obviously it makes sense that Palpatine is back because, you know, death isn't permanent in Disney.
Oh, yeah,
so
100%.
I think it is a beautiful trilogy, rounded out with beautiful stakes, with beautiful characters, and a beautiful finale that the climaxes in the ultimate way of bringing the name Skywalker and giving it to Rey. So I think that it is not as bad as people say. Okay. I think it is the best trilogy of the three. Thank you very much.
Well, all right, let's just move on with that.
Can I clarify? I hope you know I was joking.
Because well, you have to defend that it's not as bad as they make it out to seem, but...
Well, so the only thing I was going to say is the cinematography is awesome.
It is good. I agree.
Cinematography is great. And I like some of the characters, the direction they took some of the characters. Finn, as much as I think he was
such a good
him in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi is like one of the perfect character arcs I've seen. It's just that decision to save him at the end. Like Rose to save him. Like that.
It would have been a nice two kind of film rounding off almost a staple in that new franchise, but subverting your expectation that all three of them will last, or even someone might die towards the last one, not the second one.
Yeah, no. Look, and I think what the sequels do well is it sets up what's going to come next. Yeah. And I know that's really stupid because why wouldn't you just set up what's next in your trilogy?
But also not call it part of the Skywalker, but you're still going to continue the 10, 11,
But I think Finn, I've spoken about this before, in my fan-made Defiance series, Finn goes on such a journey in that. Like, he's gone from pretty much not knowing who he wants to be. He's gone from like a soldier and a leader to now having to fulfill being a Jedi apprentice and a co-general and just trying to find himself. And he's so busy.
Identity.
And so that's where I see Finn going next. But obviously, we're probably never ever going to see that, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's what I'd give the sequels credit for. The cinematography. Yep. And I do think that it does subvert expectations. The Last Jedi is good at subverting expectations. It subverts
expectations. It's just a lot of the people don't like it. Didn't like them. And it's fair enough. You did major character kind of differences, major changes to what people were excited about. Correct. And just got rid of them completely.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my little defense.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so now, funnily enough, there's only my two left to go with these ones.
What's on first? Oh,
see if you can read my fantastic handwriting.
Did Darth Vader ever truly redeem himself? I'm going to say... I feel like you wrote this so you could go no. But I'm going to say... Okay, so the thing is, I know what you're going to say if I say no. I will say...
He did?
No, I'm going to say no.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Obviously, the character himself has committed a lot of atrocities. He slaughtered the Tuskens.
Mm-hmm.
He killed...
Numerous
Jedi. He killed the younglings. The younglings. Who goes and kills kids nowadays? Well, in a galaxy far, far away, I should say, sorry.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, that's not even before his time. Actually, that's kind of his time as Darth Vader. So then we move into him in the suit. We know so little about what he did. My mind always goes back to the town in Obi-Wan Kenobi when he just slaughters the village for no reason. Snaps that guy's neck. It's fantastic. No reason, just does it. Rogue One kills all of the rebel troopers. So basically what I'm saying, he does a lot of bad stuff. He takes a lot of lives. And then we get to the point of his redemption. I say in quotation marks, which in my mind is killing the Emperor, throwing him over the thing, saving his son. Now, you got to look at where that leads. So saving Luke, what does Luke end up doing? Dies saving Rey.
Yep.
That's fine. But what happens to Palpatine? He doesn't die. Oh, I've just caught myself. Damn it. I didn't think this far through.
Yep, you caught yourself.
Damn it.
You now have to backtrack.
Okay, well, I basically just given Jackie's argument. That's all right. No, I think because of all the atrocities he committed, because of the lack of quickness in being able to resolve it, I think more people had to suffer after. More people had to suffer after Palpatine didn't die in order for him to eventually die. So yes, Vader's sacrifice was to save Luke, whose sacrifice saved Rey, whose sacrifice ended Palpatine, not sacrifice.
Technically.
So technically along the line, yes, because he got rid of the evil guy. But all of the lives he took, all the evil
doesn't add up for it, you think?
I don't, well...
Makes up for it.
I don't think, no, I'm going to say I don't think so. Okay, yep, done.
Look, to be honest, writing this, I did want to say he didn't, because I agree. I think, especially now that Palpatine did return later on, and through technicalities, I'm not going to do that. He technically didn't even, take out the most evil villain in the whole galaxy. But in the case of having to say he has truly redeemed himself, look, he was a boy who was enslaved as a child. He had a rough upbringing. He was also groomed by Palpatine throughout basically his entire Jedi lifetime. He had great support with him, but his main father figure role died. You're telling me that someone who had that much of a bad upbringing, trauma, then basically got manipulated to saying he lost his love of his life. He was fearful of his visions. And then when he realized that the two kids one kid was the one to basically make him come back to the light side, saying that, look, you don't have to do this. He basically gave himself up and was like, I'm not going to even fight this. He put himself through some torture for his father to realize how much he is a good person at heart. And yes, obviously he did all those kind of bad stuff to those people, but he kind of had to, otherwise he would have been killed himself by the Emperor. He also had that anger, that build-up of everything that's happened to him throughout his whole life and just latching onto that. And yes, obviously killing people is bad. How many other characters have killed people? You could even argue that the Jedi Knights in the Clone Wars killed so many random people who were fighting them as separatists, alliances and stuff. But it's like, you bypass that because they're from the separatists. But what if you were looking from the separatist side? You'd be like, you're killing our people.
Matter of perspective.
So Darth was doing what he was, kind of as a soldier to do, even in the suit and everything. He was tasked to do it. He did it. But inside, he was never truly evil. I think redeeming himself and being known, let's just say the sequels don't count in this sense. He was known as a person who sacrificed himself to save Luke and kill the Emperor and save the galaxy from basically being ruled by an Iron Fist. So I would like to argue that he has redeemed himself, and probably him dying would be the best way for people to move on. Because if he was alive, being as a Jedi or something and trying to do acts of kindness and stuff, nobody would trust him. Nobody would even want to go near him. People would be... It'd be like... Good reference. Be like watching the Penguin in for the Penguin show, right? Yeah. Sophia gets released from Arkham. She says she's rehabilitated. No one believes her. Everyone's still protesting against. People won't believe Darth, even if he said he was good now and everything. True. After everything he's done, death probably was the best way for him to be "quote unquote" redeemed. So I think he did.
Okay, all right, yeah. It's a tricky one. It's like this being a Jedi one. It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of kind of
what comes after, what comes before.
Yes.
Yeah. At the moment that it happened, was he doing that intentionally to save just Luke, or was he actually doing it to also save the galaxy and his son?
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's a tough one.
We don't quite know. Yeah. No, it was a good question. All right, last one.
Okay, so this one here, I should have thought about this. I know what it is, but I don't know which side I'm going to go for. It is the Star Wars fandom too focused on nostalgia?
That is a great question.
So before I pick for or against, I agree to both sides of this. I think I have good cases for both of them. In the sense of what I want Cooper to do, I'm going to say, for me, I think the fandom is not focused. So I'm going to get you to argue that they are focused on nostalgia.
I'm happy about that.
Because I think in my head, you probably prefer the other one, but they're both quite good to argue.
I could argue both.
Yeah, same. So in the case of this one, I think... Wait, what was I going to do? Oh, that they're not.
No, they're not.
Sorry. So I think that they're not too focused on nostalgia. Reason being, for example, Mandalorian Season 2. People love Mandalorian Season 2. However, the biggest critique of Mando Season 2 is forced cameos. Now... If the fandom was too focused on nostalgia, why would they be complaining about all these returning characters? Luke... Actually, not many people complain about Luke. Mainly Bo-Katan and some other... Was there any other? I think there was. Boba. If they were too focused on nostalgia, they would have been, they would have been like... Oh, I'm getting confused. It would have been like, oh my god, great, yes, you know what I mean? But in this case, people were complaining that they felt forced and just kind of in there to please fan service kind of things, right? And everyone in Star Wars kind of now in the fandom, people are all asking, right? We want good stories. We want good writing. We don't care about what characters you bring in. They need to have good writing. And I think at the helm of it, people aren't caring about... Like, people obviously want more Luke and stuff, but people honestly... Kill Luke, fair enough, whatever, let's move on. Or let's go before time, right? They don't want nostalgia. They just want good quality Star Wars content, right? It's not people being blinded by their love for Anakin. People love Anakin. People love Darth Vader. How many people nowadays are like, wow, Darth's being forced into every single video game and media, everything that we see. Darth. Oh, surprise cameo at the end, Darth. If they were too focused on nostalgia, they would be frothing. They would be taking this all in and no complaints at all. But the biggest complaint that people are honestly giving nowadays is like, you can't fix your bad writing and bad projects by putting in nostalgic characters. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like, how are you meant to be like, oh, they're too focused, the fandom's too focused on nostalgia, they're never going to accept new characters. They would if you gave them the chance to have good writing, good storytelling, good plot beats, differentiating them from what we already loved from the past. So it makes you question, it's like, well, I don't think they are, because of all the reasons I said prior, and I think that honestly, nostalgia is a good thing to have. You don't want it in too much dosages, and I think people have already been kind of fulfilled with their hit of nostalgia with kind of the recurring characters like Boba and everything. But then it even gets more confusing, right? You introduce Boba Fett into the Mandalorian Season 2. Oh, Mandalorian is a pretty similar character to Boba Fett. Oh no, we're going to do a Boba Fett show. Oh cool, we're going to get like rough, tough Boba. Oh wait, no, but he has the same sort of kind of character as our Mandalorian Din Djarin now does. Oh, we're going to have to change him. Boom, people got angry. You know why? It's not the Boba that they were nostalgic and grew up with. So it's like, so having people being too focused on it is not actually true. If they made the character kind of develop and kind of, go into from what they were back, like what he was back in the day, people might be on board with it. But I think the nostalgic aspect is kind of ruining kind of characters' development and progression into further. And also, it's just being an excuse for having lazy writing and bad kind of story development. So that's my overall.
Okay, all right. I think that. Hang on, I need to read the question.
Yeah,
because it's.
You're saying that they are too. Oh, no, you're saying. Wait. Oh
they're not too focused on nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, that's what you are.
No, you have to say they are focused on
they
this.
are. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I feel like the evidence is quite statistical, in all honesty. What are the most well-performing Disney Plus shows?
The ones that have the people,
Obi-Wan,
yeah,
Ahsoka,
yep,
and
technically Mando season 2
Mandalorian
was crazy with the Luke cameo.
Yeah, but the best performing shows, which would be Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, they are legacy characters.
Yep, nostalgia.
And it's not just going with the titular characters. It's the rebels in Ahsoka. It's Vader, and I guess Palpatine was in it for one episode in Obi-Wan. And the ideas, Tatooine, Inquisitors, bounty hunters. I mean, I don't know how nostalgic that is.
Yeah, right.
And then on the Ahsoka side, it's Thrawn, and it's
you got me there.
Anakin.
Yeah, even from the books.
Yeah, so it's nostalgia bait, and people love it. People love it. They can't get enough of it. And you said Vader is shoehorned into the projects. I don't necessarily agree with you, and I don't think people hate that. I think that Vader showing up is a sign that things are getting serious. So, for example, in the Jedi games, the 2 times he shows up, well, first of all, he's the final boss in Fallen Order.
Yeah.
And second of all, in Survivor, he shows up when the hidden path is really about to get going. And obviously that's when the betrayal happens. I'm going to play Survivor again. It's so fun. Anyway, that's besides the point.
Yep.
So, yes, I think that Star Wars fans are too focused on nostalgia. And you look at The Acolyte. The first real attempts... Because Mandalorian was still set in that time period. So it's like we were familiar with stuff.
Still nostalgic by originals and stuff.
Correct. Yeah. And we've seen characters go into that. The Acolyte was the first one where supposedly we weren't going to. And we still did right at the end with Yoda. But it didn't perform very well. And granted,
my case with the writing,
it was a very poorly written show and poorly acted show. But... And again, this is where it's a bit tricky because you don't know what led to the low viewership. Was it just no interest in that time period, or is it boycotting Leslie Headland? We don't know. So I'm going to say, yes, the Star Wars fan is too focused on nostalgia, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure that the characters we are doing get justice with how they're being written. Yeah. So keep going into different corners of the galaxy. Go to Skeleton Crew. Go with characters.
Nostalgia,
keep nostalgia.
Because people do like it. Yeah.
Correct. There is sometimes an over-reliance. I think Andor does the balance very well. Like, I don't think we've spoken about Andor in this sense before. Because Andor is fresh and new.
Well, even with Krennic returning, that's technically nostalgia based.
It is.
Because he was in one of the most popular Star Wars movies and everyone loved him in it.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't doubt that he'll be written poorly.
Oh, yeah, no, he'll be good. Yeah.
Everything I've heard about Andor Season 2 points to this guy being a really important, integral part of Season 2. And so I feel that Andor strikes that balance really well between the nostalgia with characters like Saw Gerrera and Orson Krennic.
I like Saw Gerrera
Andor.
For the mention.
No, that's fair enough. And then the new, like, the good writing and the refreshiness. So that's kind of just a summary. I was I'm not trying to use your points against you, I suppose.
Well, I'd like to mention what you've been saying and what I was saying too. The reason why I put this one in it is because it's hard to just go fully in. It's one that has good debate because there's to and fro. There's pros and cons when I feel like some are just straightforward. Yeah. This one here, it's like maybe there are too focused on nostalgia, but maybe they're not. Maybe they want nostalgia and good writing, or maybe they just only want good writing and they don't care about it. It's hard to find that balance.
It is. But you know what? I think that was a great topic. Yeah. And that's probably one that we could have done as a whole podcast.
Literally just... Yeah. Well, I being part of the Star Wars fandom, you have to talk about it because it can be toxic, it can be good, it can also be bad. So it's like this one here, I was like, are we too focused on holding on to past characters and that's why we're not accepting new ones? Or is it solely just based on the poor lack of writing? I mean, I think it's a bit of both.
Yep.
I think there's no true answer to this kind of question. I don't think there's one good response, but that's why debating is good because you can hear multiple perspectives.
Exactly. All right. That brings us to the end of the second great Star Wars debate. It was good fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had some good topics.
Yeah.
I think, personally, in my opinion, I had the best argument for why the sequels are
100%.
not as bad as
I think
people think.
solely based on that, I think Cooper wins.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'll take the crown. I'll take the crown. Crown's here.
Oh, damn it, it's Sabine too, even better. Well, thanks for tuning in for another one of our classic Star Wars videos. We appreciate all the support on the videos we've been getting recently. This was great fun. I'm sure we'll do it again because we just like to talk about random topics and debate them. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you guys.
See ya.